Alright, so before we can go through a crossing, we really have to know 5 aspects, which is the depth, the flow, the surface, the width and the exit. They're the things you need to assess at a crossing. The biggest danger is the flow, how fast it's going, and obviously the surface. That's what will catch people most times. So if we're going to drive into the soft sand, you're going to have to let the tyres down. If we're going to be dealing with a large amount of flow, we may need to go a little bit faster to break the flow and to turn it into our direction. So they're the 2 aspects that we have to do. So I'll walk the crossing and I'll show you by walking the crossing exactly what it's going to be like down there.
Okay. Put the tyres down?
If it was sandy, definitely, but it's not. It's all rock today. You see, this changes every year, this crossing. So last year, we had no crossing here last year. This was all sand, and when the water came down, we were struggling to get any depth. So we didn't always use this crossing. But this year, all the sand has gone, moved downstream, and we've got lots of depth in this crossing. So here's the old sand base, but you can see when you walk down here, it drops off dramatically. And my feet are not sinking into the sand at all, you know. So it really is quite a solid base. And as you go down, this has really dug out all the sand. Still a really solid base here, but obviously it's a lot deeper. So the deepest you should be going, according to the manual or according to the full drivers, diesels is the height of the tyre and petrols are half the height of the tyre. So we are going a little over the height of the tyre today, but it's a good hard base. So if you're confident with what you're doing and you set your car up correctly, you'll be able to do a crossing like this with ease, without any problems. Now, if I can walk in the crossing and stand up and not be pushed over by the flow of the water, then the car is not going to be lifted. So basically, if you can walk it, your vehicle will walk it. That's a guarantee.
Okay, what we're going to do now is put this tarpaulin across the front of the car to protect the car, stop the water running into the motor, and also help to break the bow wave. It's important. And also this stops the chance of the fan hitting the radio and damaging it. So we'll stretch it out across the trees. We'll open the bonnet and then we'll use these ocky straps to hook it onto the car. So we'll do the back, the rear section first. I'll bring it up here. I'll open the bonnet. Okay, so I'm going to give you this piece of rag. I'll just stand on that side please. And we'll use this long strap across the centre. Like that. And I'll put this bit of rag underneath this strap so it doesn't damage the paintwork. Put this up under here, this will keep the water coming up from underneath. We'll hook this on there and use that rag back under here. Okay, we'll put the bonnet down now, and that will close the back section. Okay, now, on the other side, please. Yep. We'll fold this back up over the top, and we'll attach it with the rest of the ocky straps. Righto.
How's that, Benny?
Good. That should do it. Strap. With this tarp back underneath, it'll stop water coming up to the fan. You know, the chance of hitting the fan blade and the propeller action pulls them towards the fan, the radiator, so it'll stop that. And the chance of other things sticking up there reduces the chance of that. But critical, it's just a cheap tarp bought from a super cheap or one of those crazy park stores or so. Yep. And they're handy for other things while you're out and camping and so forth. So it's critical. I usually carry at least 2 of them.
Okay, good.
Righto.
Basically, to set yourself up for a water crossing, you need to get yourself in the correct gear. Now, I always put myself in 2nd gear in a car like this. This is a fairly low geared car. If you're driving the car, you're going to know what the gearing's like, especially if you've driven to the crossing. But this is a low geared car, so I'd choose 2nd. I mean, if I was in a Nissan Patrol with a fairly small motor, I'd probably pick 1st because they rely heavily on the power of the turbo, and if you're going too slow, the turbo actually won't be kicking in, so you can conk out in the crossing, which is the last thing you want to do when we're going to go into water bonnet height.
Right.
So, so we'll pop it into second gear. You never have your seatbelt on, so we. That's all right. You never have your seatbelt on. That's all right. That's fine. You never have your seatbelt on, and you always wind the windows down. So basically, if we get into strife in any part of the crossing, the car gets left where it is, we hop out and try and figure out how to get it out again. The car is never more important than the people driving it. So yeah, we pop it into second gear and we get up and we get going. Now, look, if it was a sandy crossing, it's not at the moment, we would be letting the tyres down. But as a general rule, this is a nice, hard, rocky crossing, so we can sort of crawl our way through here quite easily. Yeah.
Straighten it up there. Straight. Straight.
So what we have to do is get rid of that wall so the tyre can roll up and on top of it.
Right.
And what we'll do next time, we'll pop it into second gear,
Yep.
because that'll make it put more pressure on the car and it
Yep.
won't dig into the embankment so quickly.
Right.
So it'll probably help out a little bit more. But what Bernie's doing there, rounding off the edge, brilliant stuff. It'll make it just so easy to roll up and over the top of the embankment.
And
Yeah.
aim for the left because you go to the right anyway?
Oh, that's right. I mean, look, we could sit here for another hour or so really levelling this embankment perfect, and you just walk up there almost in a two-wheel drive.
Right.
It all depends how much time you want to spend preparing the embankment to get yourself out of a crossing.
Okay.
But there are certain areas. We've got a winch on the front of the car that's paid $2,500 for it. We might as well use it.
Yeah.
You know? there's no use struggling digging holes and doing all that if we've got material that'll get us up and out. All right, good to go? Okay.
So second.
Yeah, second gear. Get straight.